And joining us on the River Islands guest line is the man that is all of those things. Osa Odighizuwa, Niners get him from the Cowboys for a third-round draft pick, and he is at OTAs and joins us live. Osa, thank you for coming on. Thank you for your time. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Appreciate you guys for having me.
Yeah, man, we're super excited to talk to you about all of these things. What you've been already now on two pretty high-profile organizations. What are your first impressions?
The Bay is a great place, and the Niners are a great organization. I felt that, honestly, just from the first day being here, meeting everyone and just being in the environment.
I imagine a trade, you have conflicting emotions because you're on a team and it's the only professional team you've known. And maybe you think, well, why did they want to get rid of me? But on the flip side, you have a team that gave up assets to bring you in. So when you find out about the trade, how does that make you feel? And what were your first thoughts when you found out that it was Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers?
I mean, definitely off rip positive because I'm like, could have went anywhere else. You know what I mean? Very glad that I went to a great organization. I'm here with the Niners now, so that was something silver lining that I just looked for immediately. Obviously, not the call you want to get on a Wednesday afternoon, like just a random Wednesday, like pretty shocking. Like couldn't even really say much on that phone call, but yeah, so it was a lot to take in for sure.
I got to imagine so. And actually looking at it from the 49ers side, I think everybody's all excited, but I'm sure that it's conflicting emotions. And then just kind of diving into who you are as a player, I got to ask this question, Osa. You're 27. You don't miss games. You put up numbers. Why did they trade you? Why were the Cowboys moving on from you?
As much as an asset as I am, I would say we had a lot of money at the D-tackle position. Just from a business standpoint, I can understand. You know what I mean? That's like $60 million at one position, which is a lot, however you slice it, So it's like, kind of get it a little bit.
Was it also a scheme thing, Osa? Is there something that you can add to this as far as the maneuvers that they're making on the defensive scheme and the same that the 49ers are doing?
Definitely. Like I said, a lot of money at one position for the Cowboys. There was a high need for the Niners. So, business-wise, it made sense on both sides. And, I'm glad to be able to be in a scheme that fits my skill set and, just being able to add to a really good defense.
Obviously, from afar, Osa, you were with the Cowboys last year. You're not sitting there rooting for the Niners at all, but just knowing what they went through last season with all the injuries, Nick Bosa out, Fred Warner out, a number of Micah Williams, first-round pick last year, out for the majority of the season, yet they found a way to win double-digit games, go to the playoffs, beat a team that you rooted against in the Eagles in the postseason. They did that in Philadelphia. How difficult would you think that was for the 49ers? And you get healthy, you get you in the mix. What is the confidence level that the defense is going to be, 10 times better this year? What, from your perspective, what was it that the Niners went through last year?
A lot of injuries, you know what I mean? A lot of injuries, and then just a lot of people finding their role and being able to step up and play a lot of meaningful plays and get a lot of good experience and, a lot of learning experience. So there's guys that are coming back who are really, really talented. There's guys who are able to get some experience and are going to be able to learn from it and improve and take huge steps. And then there's talented people like myself, Dre Greenlaw coming back, who's been with the team before, being able to be added to the mix. So it's honestly a recipe for a great season coming up.
Osa, how do you think November 15th is going to feel?
It's going to be an awesome, awesome game.
You care to add anything to that? What do you think?
Sure.
What do you think your emotions will be?
I don't know. I feel like it's obviously going to be one of those ones, but Looking forward to it. Like I said, AT&T is a great place to play. You know, I'm going to have the opportunity to go against a really good O-line in the Cowboys O-line, so I feel like it's just going to be a really good game.
Osa, you've obviously had a lot of talented players around you in your career. I think of Micah Parsons, but of course there's been a whole lot more. I'm curious, though, what it's like as a defensive tackle to play with arguably the best linebacker in football behind you. Can you take me through what it's like and what your job is, or maybe how much easier it makes your job when you have someone like Fred Warner behind you? What's it like being his teammate? I know you haven't played games with him yet, but what do you think that's going to be like teaming up with Fred Warner?
Haven't played any games, but, you know, Fred definitely commands a lot of respect. I would say so for Dre Greenlaw as well. Just seeing their tape, I've always had a high respect for those two and the way they play the game. So just knowing that I'm going to be a part of this front seven, having guys that are flowing to the ball, going to be able to make me right in a lot of ways and play off kind of not whatever I do, obviously, like there's scheme involved, but the way that they play is gonna feed off of what we do up front. So it's going to be I feel like it's going to be a great experience.
Osa Odighizuwa is with us here on 95.7 The Game. I wonder to what level Raheem Morris, as your coordinator, and his scheme also fits into what you just said. I've heard you say already that you feel like this system is going to give you a lot more freedom. So how would you explain what that means and the position that Raheem is going to put you in?
I feel like the defense is simple, but within that, I'm going to have a lot of tools just to be able to put some different things on tape, which then just brings the attack to life, you know, keeping people honest and being able to play certain looks in different ways kind of gives me an edge, I feel like.
Oh, so this is a defense, as you mentioned, that was really injured last year. You've got a star in Nick Bosa. You're obviously a really good player and a veteran, Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw. It feels like there's a lot of proven talent up front on this roster. Not that the defensive backs are bad in any way. Diamador Lenore, Malik Mustafa, Upton Stout, and others. But it feels like this is a group that the veteran group is up front. How much pressure do you guys put on the front seven to impact the quarterback and show up for your defensive backs? Because it feels like one of the issues for this defense last year was the lack of pass rush, making it 10 times more difficult on your corners and your safety. So how much pressure do you guys put on yourself this year, knowing that you got to get after the quarterback more?
I mean, I'm putting that pressure on myself every year. I have high expectations of myself, and I know that the guys around me have high expectations of themselves. So, you know, we're just looking to obviously be the engine of the defense and the team up front. Like that's how we feel. That's how any D-line should feel for sure. And just being able to be a group that has a huge impact on the team and be able to change the game in any way that we can possible.
Osa, I hear a lot of people think that the 49ers are going to be good this year, but they also think you're going to be the third best team in your own division, and possibly the two best teams in the whole NFL are in your division, and one of them got better earlier this week by getting Myles Garrett. What is your thought process right now, both in looking at what the Rams and Seahawks have and also what you're hearing people say about this division?
I mean, that's more of a question that you would ask an offensive player. I just know Myles Garrett is a generational talent, so, you know, I'm pretty sure the Rams are happy about it.
I guess I would ask it in more of an entire team sort of a way, though, because they also do have the reigning MVP on offense. So, like, when you look at the Rams and Seahawks, what kind of a challenge do you see?
I mean, obviously the Seahawks just won the Super Bowl, so that's a really good team. The Rams aren't too far removed from winning one themselves. I think they won one, 2022? And they've been competitive contenders every year. So I know we have some really good challenges that we're going to have to play twice a year and probably in the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to it. I feel like there's a lot of challenging games ahead of us, and that's going to be fun to play in.
Oh, so you've played against the Niners a fair amount in your career when you were a Cowboy. I'm curious, on the defensive side, what is it like to go up against a Kyle Shanahan schemed offense? Like, in your experience, how difficult does Kyle Shanahan make it on opponents?
Oh, man. You know, when I was preparing for the Niners, I'd have like a whole notebook, like a whole page of not a whole notebook, but I have a whole page of notes. So I take notes every week. And some looks to own, stuff like that, anything that I can use to play faster in the game. I'd write down what I wrote down and then just be like, well, this is a keys week, close my notebook, put it off to the side, and just, I got to play my keys for the rest of the ball, because the scheme is definitely one that's difficult to prepare for.
That's really interesting, Osa. So you would basically tell 49er fans that preparing for the 49er offense, that's kind of next level compared to some other teams?
For sure.
Huh.
For sure. I feel like they do a great job of making everything look the same. And that is, I feel like, one of the hardest things to prepare for as a defense.
Hey, first time we've gotten to talk to you, so I was wondering if you'd share a little bit of your story. You were born in Ohio, right? But then you came out west and ended up at UCLA. How did that all come to be?
Definitely moved around a little bit on the East Coast. Moved to Portland by the time I was 3 years old. Had some family out there. And my brother had went to UCLA, so I grew up, my first year playing football was actually my brother's first year, his freshman year at UCLA. So I didn't know anything about football. I just knew him my older brother is a D lineman, so I'll be a D lineman. I wanted to get the ball, so I was a fullback as well. And then from there, just growing up, watching how good the team was, there were a lot of really good defensive players that were going to the NFL every year consistently while I was watching UCLA growing up. And then I finally went to visit, not even an official visit. I just went because my brother it was a senior game. So that's my first time going to California, and I fell in love with it.